It's Movie Time is brought to you by the Gateway Film Center at 1550 North High Street in the South Campus Gateway. Gateway has indoor parking at 11th and High. Further details online at gatewayfilmcenter.com.
It's Movie Time is produced by John DeSando. Listen to the shows and read reviews online at wcbe.org. I'm John DeSando.
And I'm Linda Boss McClelland.
And this is It's Movie Time. Linda, there have been many films about women of a certain age. And I think of Bridges of Madison County, Alice Doesn't Live Here Anymore, Goodbye Girl, there are any number of them. Now we've seen the most recent Chilean film that was submitted for the Oscars by Chile and not accepted, named Gloria. And Linny, how does this depict a woman of a certain age?
I couldn't wait to talk about this movie, so I thought it was so quirky. I think the actress, her name is Paulina Garcia.
Yes.
She is in every single frame of that movie.
Yes.
And she can go from looking haggard and wrinkled and old to adorably shining. It just depends on what mood she's in and what she's doing at the time. I thought she was wonderful. I thought she was glowing in certain parts of the movie.
She is vibrant. She is the heart of the film. Without her, this film would not be successful.
She is a glorious Gloria, that's for sure. But women, I think, of all ages, between the age of 20 and maybe 65, would find this movie very interesting, and I think they would find some parts of it to identify with, even though it's about middle-aged love.
So she's going to be connecting
with
middle-aged men, no doubt.
She's trying to, very desperately. Okay. She goes, fueled by alcohol, she goes to bars that cater to middle-aged people looking for other friends.
Sure.
And she dances alone, which I find fascinating because the strobe lights are going and people are bouncing around her, and she's just dancing there alone in her unflattering bob and her big glasses.
Yeah, Tootsie-like glasses.
Yeah, I'm wondering about the glasses. I couldn't figure that
out.
out.
Toward the end of the film, they talk about her getting glaucoma. And I think there's something to do with her eyes and something about the way she sees the world that's encapsulated. And there's something goofy about the glasses, which look very much like the ones that Dustin Hoffman wore in Tootsie.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that.
So there's some metaphoric property to it. But basically, I think it gives her a kind of funky, retro look, even though she's a hip, middle-aged woman.
She's very optimistic. She's at this club looking around, and even though she's middle-aged, it shows that we're all amateurs when it comes to romantic relationships
for sure.
And finding the right person. But she's going to give it her best shot. In
her major romance, she meets an ex-naval officer, a middle-aged man who's just had operation for a fat operation or whatever, reducing his size some.
Right.
So when they're making love, she has to pull off his girdle, which is really pretty grotesque. But anyway, it is you'll never see middle-aged couples making love on the screen, and they do here. And I think there's something very sensitive, though there's something off-putting for much younger people.
Yes, I was going to say this is one of the few films that I've ever seen that has middle-aged adult nudity in it, and get real, folks. Sometimes it's not pretty, but most of the time it's very tender and very realistic.
There's some heat there, and it's really good to see. So for me, the film centers on a character who is searching, as we would expect her to do. What's so fascinating to me is that nothing much really happens in this film. I mean, obviously she has this big romance and things, it's pretty rocky as you might expect. But in the end, there's nothing happening here, unless maybe I'm seeing it wrong.
Well, we'll get to the end.
Okay.
Towards the end.
But do you see what I'm saying? That in this, you don't have a grand story. And in fact, don't be seduced by the trailers to this, because they show her discoing and Gloria, and she's throwing her arms up in the air. Well, you can see her here throwing her arms up in the air in one of their shots. But in the end, for me, it's static in a sense. And without her, it's not the great film it could be.
Interesting. A little background. She is obviously a divorced woman with grown children who are completely blind to this really very vibrant
You're so
person
right.
that is their mother.
And how many parents out there are going to experience their children really paying no attention once their children grow up and get involved in their own personal lives and their professional lives? Parents tend to be marginalized, and this is a great example of that. The closest person, not the closest person, the closest animal to her is a cat without fur.
Yes,
this ugly
the
cat.
naked cat that keeps wandering into her apartment.
Right.
And also there's the mystery of the neighbor upstairs
Oh, right.
who at night keeps her awake with his ranting and screaming. What's that all about?
No, we're shown that life is disruptive even in the privacy of her own apartment in this world that she really has control of, but she doesn't have control of it. Or the cat, his cat, who comes down
That's right, belongs
and
to him.
visits her.
But at the same time, I admire her because she is up for trying new things like bungee jumping and
Good.
the paintball gun, which comes into play
Oh,
a very
this
important
a
moment in the
great
movie.
metaphor.
That scene where she's at a laughing workshop,
Yes.
where everybody's laying on top of each other laughing. That was really something. So she is, like I said before, she's an optimist. She's quirky, but she's an optimist, and she is not going to sit at home alone,
No.
waiting for something to happen. She's going to go out and try and find it.
You are so right, and that's the part of the film that's uplifting, and the part of the film I think that gives it real gravity. It is her personality and is her optimistic outlook at a time when many people are falling apart or just receding from the world.
Right.
She's out there trying,
Right.
and she's doing new things, and she's actually enjoying herself.
And she's got a charming smile, and that's what Rodolfo was captured by. And he asks her at one point, "Are you always this happy?" And she said, "Sometimes in the morning, no. Sometimes in the afternoon, no." So
That's right.
She's like everybody, She has happy parts and sad parts, but she wants the elation as well as the heartache that comes with love, and I think she's putting herself out there, and that's why another reason I admire her.
I think the trailer also emphasizes the song Gloria suited,
Right,
but that theme song, which really occurs only in the end,
exactly.
Is kind of misleading because her life is not glorious. She is glorious. She is glorious, but her life is not necessarily
Right.
glorious.
Right, exactly.
All right, Linda. You
Yes.
know, it's that time, and everybody knows
Is it
when
time already?
it is, and I'm really interested in the grade you're going to give this. Now, one of the rules of It's Movie Time is that we don't talk with each other before we talk about it on the show. So I'm completely uncertain as to what grade Linda is going to give it. Even though we saw the movie together, we just won't talk about it after. So this is the first time you're hearing us talk about it. So Linda, it's called Gloria, and the grade you awarded is.
I gave it a B.
Oh,
I found it enjoyable, but like I've said before, very quirky. But I think it gives women something to talk about. I mean, as a man, what did you think of Gloria, the person?
You know, I found her very attractive for a woman in her 50s, probably pushing 60. Very attractive. I found her actually to be the kind of person I have friends who should hook up with, because she seems to me to be easy to live with and upbeat in so many ways
Right.
that I found her. So I did, and I found it. I was thinking more of my women of a certain age friends who would like to see this movie and just shake their heads and say, "Yep, I see it."
Definitely.
So Linda, I'm going to award it a B+. And the reason I'm doing that is that I think her performance would have been nominated for an Oscar had this film been picked up as an Oscar nominee.
Yeah, I totally agree.